Hello, this is Carrie coming to you from the ECOGOLD booth on Sunday at Rolex, so the last day of Rolex for 2011. I'm a little sad. We have a long drive to get back to Ontario, but the highlight of my day probably totally is going to be meeting Diana Burnett. Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Good. So Diana has had an interesting time here at Rolex, but we'll get to that in a second. First things first, ECOGOLD pads. Why do you love the pads so much?
I love everything about them. They don't move, the horses breathe in them, they don't rub the horses. They stay still on the horses plus under our saddles.
Yeah.
We use the cross-country pad, the dressage pad, the show jumping pad, the half pad, the memory foam half pad, which in fact was stolen from us this weekend. Michael Pollard asked to borrow it for one ride because his horse had a wither rub, and I think this was on Tuesday, and he still has it and has competed in it all weekend. Yes, we use all the boots.
Perfect. And how do you like the boots?
Love them.
Love them?
Love them. They stay light when they're full of water, and they're great.
Awesome, great. And so after Friday, or you rode on Thursday your dressage test or Friday? Thursday. So what happened between Thursday and Saturday morning with Manny?
I'm not really sure. He just, Friday night had a little bit of fill in his leg, which made me a little bit nervous to run on that kind of footing.
Yeah.
We scanned his leg and it's totally fine, but between Christiana and our team vet, we decided it wasn't worth the risk of running him on less than perfect footing.
Yep.
Although the organizers did everything they could to make the ground perfect, it just was the circumstance.
Good.
And there's always another day.
I was going to say, I like how you always put the horse first. That's really nice to hear. And always another day. So now that you haven't done the Kentucky Rolex 4-star, what other 4-star are you thinking about?
Well, we're hoping now to get to Burley. So we've got a lot of fundraising to do. And you want to try and get to the 4-stars that you can when you have a horse that's going to do it, because you don't know when the next time a 4-star horse comes around. Yeah, and Manny's kind of the bravest horse I'll probably ever ride, so if I ever get a bit nervous, he can take over.
Yeah. and you went to Burley last year, right?
In 2009.
2009?
We did Kentucky and Burley, and then Kentucky again last year.
So you're going to be excited to go back there, I guess.
Way more. I was really excited to go the first time, but it's a big track and it's overwhelming being there, so it'll feel a lot better going there, having already been there once.
If I remember correctly, I think it was last year at Rolex, you had an interesting ride through the head of the lake at the double corners, or was it one corner in the lake? The big brush corner?
Yeah, they're just one corner, and we did it in 3 strides instead of 4.
It was like the cowboy moment?
Yes, it was just like lean back and hold on.
There you go. So you just spent the winter down in Florida?
Yeah.
Is that where you're on your way back up to Ontario? Okay, so when you get back, what's the first week or two going to be like at your farm back up in Ontario?
I'm really excited to go home because I haven't seen home since January.
Yep.
But it'll be busy because of all the clients that did not get to come south and all that. I'm really excited to see all them and start teaching them and helping them again. And then show season in Ontario is kind of right into full swing starting mid-May, and then we're off to Bromont in June, and so it'll be busy.
Okay, good. And a typical, I guess a typical non-eventing weekend for you up at your barn, what's that like? Like how many horses do you ride a day? How do you, you get up in the morning, what do you do during the day before you kind of go to bed at night?
That's a tricky question. No, they're all the same.
Okay.
We're usually, in the summer, the horses are fed around 5:30 because it's been so hot.
At night?
No, in the morning.
In the morning, yeah.
And then I have 8 to 10 to ride a day.
Yeah.
Try to be done riding those horses by 1 or 2 so that you can start teaching. So sometimes I'll teach till 6 o'clock at night. Sometimes I get home at 9:30.
Yeah. All depends on the day, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Now, we had this interesting conversation about fashion here at Rolex with some of the other, Sunday morning, with some of the other ECOGOLD riders, so the Jessicas and Rebecca.
Yes.
Yep. What sticks out in your mind right now? Let's talk about the jogs. Did you go to the jog this morning?
Yeah.
Who was the best dressed this morning? I didn't get to see it, so I would like to know.
I couldn't see all the riders. I was up on the top of the hill, so I wouldn't be a good judge.
Yeah, you wouldn't be a good judge. Fair enough. Okay, it's interesting because I always see really, really well-dressed riders, and then I see some that are like, oh, really? You didn't look in the mirror this morning. Anyways, have you seen? So you walked the cross-country course yesterday. And it was pretty influential, I guess. I heard. I don't know. I'm not a 4-star rider. I heard it was quite straightforward for a 4-star track, but I don't think it turned out to be that way yesterday at all. What were your thoughts on how it rode?
A lot of us had the same first impression that it was. I would say it's one of the most straightforward 4-star courses I've ever walked.
Yeah.
Having said that, the footing yesterday played a big part in how the horses went. I mean, a lot of them were really tired a lot sooner than you would be expecting them to, so the reaction times were different. And then the other thing with Derek's courses is he uses the terrain a lot, right? So what looks like a simple question, once you've got to take in what's going to happen to the horses when the ground goes away from them or the ground comes up and that kind of thing.
Right. I think for me as an amateur, that was one of the things that really stuck out for me, is seeing just really how steep some of the landing sides were, like the rails going into the head of the lake the second time, and even in the hollow. Like you think, okay, the jump in's not that bad, but then you have a huge downgrade that you have to land on. So it's interesting to see those kinds of things for me as an amateur anyways. Okay, so the rest of your day today, now that you're not show jumping, unfortunately, what are your plans for the rest of the day?
Well, we've actually packed almost everything up, and we're probably going to think about heading out soon.
Yeah. Do you drive straight through? Like, how do you guys manage that?
Yeah, this is a short drive. It'll only take us
10 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, good, excellent. Any questions from out there at all? No questions? Perfect. Diana, thank you so much. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
You too.
Thanks.